welcome back to another video. So this is, I believe, 27 of the yoga challenge. So today, I'm just gonna pop you up here, but today I wanted to discuss a little bit more about the different kind of like personality types and stuff. So with yoga, yoga and Ayurvedic go kind of hand in hand. So Ayurvedic medicine is based on different kind of personality traits, as well as each dosha. So there's 3 doshas, and each dosha has, obviously the personality traits are a little bit different, but also even their digestion's different. They function, each person functions different, right? So depending on their dosha, they'll need different things. So this kind of opens up kind of an understanding of how not only personality types kind of mesh together, and how we can understand each other a little bit better, but also they use it when they are not diagnosing, I don't want to say diagnosing, but treating certain ailments. We would treat different for a Vata versus a Pitta, right? So there's 3 doshas. So the dosha number 1 is a Vata, and I am a Vata, like through and through. It is, the element is air. We're very, personality-wise, we're very like creative and talkative, and we're kind of like all over the place. We're easily distracted. We're easily excited. So like every little thing gets super like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We can have nervous anxiety. We're kind of spacey sometimes, but we're like really bubbly and happy. We can be indecisive, so we're not really sure like where we're going with things. But that's kind of the basis of a Vata, right? This is kind of the personality traits. So we can be more one dosha than another. We can be a mix. Some people are like a tri-dosha, which is all 3 pretty equally. Some people are, you know, they have like their main dosha and they have a secondary dosha. So it really depends. Like I'm a totally Vata, like through and through, with little bits of like Kapha, very, very small amount of Kapha, and a little bit of Pitta in there. It can be fiery at times. So, which moves me on to the next one. So Pittas. So Pittas are like, generally they're like leaders and motivators, because they're very good at organizing. They're very action oriented. They can be a little bit aggressive. They're usually intellectual and reliable. They can get easily irritated. So the way that a Vata can get very nervous or anxious, the Pittas can get more irritated. They like to take control. They like to be organized. They're definitely doers. They're the people that are like, Kate, we're doing this, we're getting it done. And so I definitely think that there is Pitta in me for sure, because I'm very organized and I'm very much like driven. But I'm way more Vata, so then I get kind of like lost in my thoughts, and then I'm like, where do I start? What do I do? So, but yeah, so Pittas are really good business people, right? Because they just have a focus and they go for it, and they're very driven. So that's Pitta. They're fire, so that's their element, very fiery. So then there's Kapha, and Kapha is, the element is earth, so very grounded people. They're very slow and steady. They're faithful workers. They're peacemakers. They're very affectionate. They're very loyal, very relaxed, and at the same time, a little bit stubborn. You know, they kind of like get stuck. They don't want to move. They need the Pittas to get them fired up a little bit. But yeah, Kaphas are really loving people, very forgiving, very grounded people. So that is kind of a Kapha in a nutshell. So those are the personality traits. Obviously, they go into more detail on, you know, like I said, the digestion, the sleep patterns, body types, which I don't really agree with, because we have so many other factors out there to determine our body types. Like as we're going through stress or pregnancy and different things like that, our bodies changes. So I don't know how reliable that part of it is. But yeah, they have a lot more to do. There's a lot more detail in these specific doshas. So if you want to look up more on it, definitely look more into it because it's really intriguing. But what I like about it is it helps me to understand other people. So when I was going through training and we were learning all this, I have my daughter and my younger daughter, and as they're children you can't really tell because they still are growing and learning, but as of now my daughter and my oldest son, they're kind of like Vedas. Like like we'll go hiking and they're like run and they're busy and they're all over the place and they're like chasing butterflies and creative and expressive. But yeah, they're kind of just all over the place, and they obviously have a little bit of mix in with them, but my daughter is definitely like me, very expressive, very passionate little being. But my other son, so my middle son, is very kapha. He's very much like his father, very slow and steady, and it's like everything takes forever. Like eating supper for this kid takes like, oh my gosh, it can take an hour to 2 hours sometimes. He's so slow. But he also has the creative side. So he has a little bit of that Veda. He has that creative drawing and painting and stuff like that. So it's really cool. But like where I see it very clearly is like when we go for hikes, you know, it's like there's my two, you know, Vedas running up ahead with mommy right behind them, exploring, climbing mountains, doing all these things. And then there's the kaphas, and they're like in the back, and they're like super slow, and we're always yelling back like, hey, are you still there? You know, did a bear eat you yet? And they're just much more like just do, you know, and that's kind of their rhythm. So it's really cool to understand this because it helps you to understand other people. So people just are who they are, right? Like we can change a little bit within that, but we're all kind of just the way we are. We are these expressive people, or we are these really like down-to-earth people, or these really fiery people. And it's just about understanding. So knowing this, when I come into contact with someone who is a little bit of a pitta, and if I start to get anxiety because they're really fired up, I understand that it's like, okay, it's just because they're pitta and just getting a little bit they're getting fired up and it's triggering my anxiety. You know, and so it helps me to be able to kind of tone myself to their level and understand where they're coming from a lot better. So yeah, so I don't know, it's funny, we go about our lives and our kids are always like, we always chat about Vedas and kaphas and pittas, and when we're out in public, you know, my kids will just randomly be like, that's such a kapha thing to do, you know, and people look at us, and so I have to always explain what that means so people don't get offended not knowing. But yeah, so that's the doshas. Like I said, there's so much more information. There's so much on, you know, food and the perfect foods to eat and when to eat it and when you're in balance, out of balance, and all that pajazz. So there's tons of information. But I thought this would be just kind of a fun video to kind of go over like kind of just the basics of like the personality traits of the different doshas. So I hope this was a fun video for you guys. If you like it, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you tomorrow for another video. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Lots of love.